Hello, great to have this interview with 1010 Coding. My name is Lanre Adebola. I am currently working as a petroleum engineer with Exxon Mobil. Before now, I had my bachelor's degree in petroleum engineering from the University of Nigeria. I also had a master's in petroleum engineering from Texas Tech University in the United States of America. I worked in a couple of other places before working with ExxonMobil. I worked with Rockfield Dynamics, which makes a reservoir simulator software. I worked as a support engineer there, and I also worked with Petroleum Training Institute, where I taught drilling courses, and also I worked as a laboratory assistant while at Petroleum Training Institute. So that's like a brief summary of my professional and educational background. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Adebola. So you did mention that you are an engineer, a petroleum engineer with Exxon Mobil. So how long have you been with Exxon?
I've worked with Exxon for a total of 2 years now. I've worked in two different roles while with ExxonMobil, first starting off as a subsurface engineer and currently as a wells engineer with ExxonMobil.
All right, that actually sounds quite interesting. Your educational background into your professional background so far has had a lot to do with petroleum engineering. So currently, what motivates you to do what you do and be successful at
What motivates me is the ability to be in a space where I can tend to energy solutions, around the globe, specifically in Nigeria. Growing up in Nigeria, understanding that we didn't quite have access to all these types of energy, and eventually understanding that petroleum, crude oil in general, can provide as much energy as you want it to provide. So this kind of motivates me, and also the ability to want to be better for myself. Is what drives me every single day when I wake up. So I generally want to be better for myself, and I also want to be able to provide solutions for the energy crisis that the world currently faces. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Adebola. It is true that we have a current demand of energy, and finding someone that actively wants to better the world definitely will make the world a better place for all of us. So moving on to the next question, how would you say you arrived where you are currently? Now, talking about your early ages, what motivated you to study petroleum engineering in the University of Ibadan and do the same for masters and build a career out of it for yourself?
So really, very very young, we would notice that there was no constant electricity, right? I wanted to find out why couldn't we just have like abundance of electricity. Later got to find out that one of the ways we do that is through the hydroelectric way. And then what powers these dams which provide this energy is actually gasoline, right? And just over time, I kind of just doing more research, I kind of found out that we really did need energy sources in Nigeria. Not just petroleum. I mean, I've majored in petroleum engineering, but there are other sources of energy like solar energy, hydro energy, and wind energy, right? Those are renewable energies. But for the fossil fuels, petroleum engineering, that's oil and gas, is really what drives it. So just from that really young age, I was really curious to understand, how I could impact on life and just get better, right? So that was it. And after studying petroleum engineering from a bachelor's degree, I realized that I needed more, right? I needed to gain more knowledge in petroleum engineering, and that's why I decided to go for my master's. And I wanted to get a bigger worldview. Having studied in Nigeria, I decided that I needed to study outside of Nigeria just to get a bigger perspective of the way things run in the world. And so that's why I decided to go to Texas, which is like the oil and gas capital of the United States, just to get a better perspective of the way the world works with respect to energy. So that's kind of my background into what motivated me from while I was very very young. Thank you.
Oh, that's very great. I think that helping people improve their quality of life is definitely the way to go. And when we talk about oil and gas, too, a very big for developed countries, a very big part of their electricity comes from gas turbines driven by primarily methane. So it is good that you're in this path. So our next question would be for you to discuss the flagships of your education or your career that made you successful at what you do currently.
Really, one of the things that I feel like has made me successful so far is very simple. It's determination. You can be the best you want to be. You wake up daily, you motivate yourself, and you want to become a better version of yourself than what you were yesterday. What that eventually leads to is academic success, and I feel like that has played a big role in me. All the jobs I've gotten. It essentially gives you a step in the door, right? Just having good academic background, right? And so the major flagship for me has been finishing with a first class in petroleum engineering from the University of Ibadan. That kind of got me my admission into Texas Tech University, and then finishing with a very good GPA, with a perfect GPA, actually 4.0 out of 4.0 in my master's, also was able to give me this first step I needed in getting a job while I was in Houston, which then gave me the opportunity to interview with Exxon Mobil, and that's where I currently work. So it's majorly been trying to be the best of myself, and also the academic success that comes with that. I think that has really helped me in getting where I am today.
Thank you, Mr. Adebola. It seems like you really do have the perfect background when it comes to it. And I'm sure it would have taken a lot of work from you, but seeing as you are reaping the fruits of your labor, all the work must have been worth it. So for our next question, can you share one or two of your biggest milestones and how you actually got there, how you conquered it to get to that milestone in your life, be it personal or career-wise?
I think the biggest milestone I've gotten is getting fully funded for my master's degree. That opened a lot of doors for me, and I was able to get this. It took a lot of work. While I was doing my national youth service in Nigeria, I did put in quite some work. Doing applications, writing exams, just to show, because what the people in America know is what they are familiar with. So they write standardized exams like the graduate record examinations, just to show that you can compete with people across the globe. So I needed to put in that work, and eventually just getting fully funded meant that I didn't need to put any extra stress on my parents to fund that education. So that was really the big milestone for me. Moving forward from my bachelor's degree into my master's degree.
Yeah, so I know a lot of students out there that are always looking for 100% scholarship, and you actually getting it. That must have been really good. So our next question would be, what are your plans moving forward with your career? So you can start with your short-term goals and then tell us your long-term goals.
Really, I hope to continue working in an engineering role for the near term, but for the foreseeable future, understanding that the oil and gas industry is constantly evolving. My goal is really to pivot into something more generic, so to speak. So I'm looking into business development roles, finance roles, business management roles. So those are the kind of roles I'm looking for myself moving into the future. So that's kind of like my plan for my career. When you talk to mid-term to long-term, right? I like to become like a business development manager, something along the line. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Adebola. Our next question would be, how important do you think technology is to the future of Nigeria?
Just generally, I think technology is important to the future of anything, right? Nigeria inclusive. Most countries are reaping the benefits of investing in technology over the years, and Nigeria absolutely needs to follow suit.
All right, and then being someone that has gone through the educational system in Nigeria, how important do you think education is in this future?
I think just generally, education is the pathway to everything great. You need to learn, you need to unlearn, you need to relearn, right? So just thinking about it, education is absolutely the way to tap into that future that we want for Nigeria, which is the future of technology, right? Technology being the central part to the future of Nigeria. So just I think education is absolutely important to that future because if we can't educate, especially the kids that are coming up in the right appropriate manner, right, then we're not going to be able to fulfill the potential that Nigeria has.
I super agree with you, Mr. Adebola. So you've mentioned how important you think technology is to the future of Nigeria, but what is your vision for Nigeria? So it could fit into what you do, it could fit into just generally what you think.
I think Nigeria has the potential to be the best among the top countries in the world. We already have the population, we have the brain. Although we're experiencing a brain drain currently, but I think we have the capacity to be the best. I want to see a Nigeria where we regularly compete at the top in terms of the economy of the world. Regularly compete in terms of innovation. That's kind of what I envision Nigeria to be, where you're absolutely going to get the best of the best, right? There's absolutely no doubt. When you talk about countries like United States of America, you talk about the United Kingdom. I want Nigeria to be mentioned in that same breath, right? When you're talking about the top countries, whether it's in terms of the educational system, whether it's in terms of the economy, whether in terms of whatever it is, you always hear those countries at the top of innovations, right? Everything comes from the United States. That kind of power, right, is what I envision Nigeria to be. First within Africa, and then just expanding globally. Currently, when they're talking about the best countries in Africa in terms of global economy, global power, you tend to hear countries like South Africa, Egypt, in terms of innovation. But Nigeria needs to be the very first thing that comes out from anyone's lips, right? So that's what I envision Nigeria to be in the next, say, 10 years, and then eventually get to that global stage where we can compete favorably with other economies.
No wiser words have been said. I agree with you, Mr. Adebola. We have countries like South Korea that used to be one of the poorest countries in the world, and then they've attained their status as a developed nation, all thanks to technology, actually. Where we start hearing big companies like what Samsung and LG are doing, and knowing that they're South Korean companies. So hopefully Nigeria can live up to the vision that we have for it. So our final question is, what is your advice to your younger self? Going through all the experiences that you've had right now, if you had the opportunity to go back and talk to your 13-year-old self, what would be your advice?
My biggest advice would be to go with the times, right? Invest in yourself and go with the times. One thing that I've found just generally working in the oil and gas industry is that this is almost like a dying industry. What you don't want is to be super equipped for a world that doesn't exist, right? Which is why I'm trying to better myself, try to pivot into something different. For a lot of younger people right now, that's going to be investing in technology, right? Whether it's coding, whether it's data science, and things like that, right? I feel like that's really important moving forward. Is the next 20 to 50 years is going to be filled with technology invested companies, right? So if you really cannot provide yourself with those skills to compete, then you might struggle in the future that we're looking for, right? So just looking at my own experiences, that would be to just go with the times, be able to. You might get it wrong, and you might have to change things along the line. But the very first thing is to make sure that am I investing in the right knowledge? Am I getting the right skills to be equipped for the world that is to come and the world that is presently, rather than the one that is dying off. I think that would be my future advice to my younger self.
Wow, no wiser words have been Good, Mr. Adebola. Thank you very much for your time today. I really like the buzzword "go with the times," and I think we're gonna adopt it from you. Yeah. Thank you so much again for giving us this time and to encourage the younger generation with your words of advice. We are very sure that a lot of people are going to learn from your experience. Thanks once again.
You're welcome. It's been great talking to 1010 Coding, and I hope that this video really helps the younger ones and they're able to make better decisions. Thank you very much. It's been a great time. It's been my pleasure. Thank you.